Today, a young doctor wants to be the Dr. Hrishikesh Pai, but doesn't see the 4 decades of journey or the struggles of Dr. Hrishikesh Pai.
When I gave my engagement ring or proposal ring to my wife, I had to borrow money from my mother and give her the ring to Rishma. I was getting a pay of 700 rupees as an intern because I was not that, happy. And the only thing, the answer that time, the new kid on the block was IVF. I slowly started it and I struggled and I evolved myself. And during that evolution, the way to grow was to teach. I was one of the first to start the training program in 1991. I started mentoring people because that was a part and parcel of my career growth. I realized the kind of income we will make. Now the newer generation has seen all that. So they want that faster. I always tell everyone that you should not enter private practice very early. Don't plan too much, because when you plan, things don't fall into place. Just live your life in spontaneity.
Welcome back to yet another powerful episode of the ISAR podcast, where we just don't celebrate medicine, but we question it as well. And today we are going to talk about a topic which makes a lot of gynecologists sleepless at nights. How do I establish my career, which matters, without losing myself in that process? Well, let's be honest. The initial 5 years can literally be hard, brutal, and we are all surrounded with this fancy world of distractions where there is the social media fame, then the desire to start the private practice, the desire to climb up the professional organizations, capture or gain the international fellowships, and whatnot. Everyone tells us what success looks like. But is there somebody who's talking and who's telling you what not to do? And for this, we have our special guest, Professor Dr. Hrishikesh Pai, who has mentored several young doctors who has seen them rising, stumbling, and then gaining their footing. And today he's going to navigate through that noise and give his strong views on how to establish a meaningful career in the field of OBGY. Well, I'll take just 2 minutes, and it's my proud privilege that I'm going to introduce Professor Dr. Hrishikesh Pai, the past president of FOXI, IAG, ISAR. He has been the trustee of the Asia-Oceania region of FIGO. He's also the director of external affairs of IFFS. He was the person who started the Indian SIG group in ASRM a decade back. He's also the director of the Bloom IVF group, which has multiple branches across the country. Truly a clinician, an entrepreneur, a leader, and a mentor. On behalf of ISAR, I welcome you here, sir.
Hi, hello.
Sir, going straight into our conversation, and I promise to all my viewers this is going to be one powerful conversation and we'll all be glued to it. Sir, you have mentored so many young doctors. Can you highlight some of the mistakes these young doctors make in the initial years without even seeing what's coming in their way and eventually end up hurting themselves?
So, I have been in IVF for a long time, 1990. I was a household of Dr. Indira Hinduja in KM, and that's where my first exposure to IVF came. And then in 1990, I went for my fellowship to Melbourne. And at that point in time, I was not really, I know my dad was a professor in public health in KM hospital, but I was on my own kind of, because he didn't know anything about IVF. And I wrote to a lot of people, wrote and said I want to come, and the exposure of Indira Hinduja, all that propelled me to go abroad. And I feel that my journey has been like it's because that time I was really I didn't know what to do, because I was not that happy with obstetrics and or the routine gynec, and I had seen Indira Hinduja, so I felt that I must do something. And the only thing, the answer that time, the new kid on the block was IVF. So I went and did IVF, and then of course I came back and I had to struggle because there was no. I was a query nepo kid because my father was a public health professor, but actually I was not a nepo kid because I was not into the actual. My gynec background was zero. Yeah. So, but I slowly started it and I struggled and I evolved myself. And during that evolution, the way to grow was to teach, because there was no other Means, of course, teaching was in my blood. My dad was a professor, but that was also a source of uh, getting income, and that's how I started mentoring a lot of people. I was one of the first to start the training program in 1991. I remember I used to do teach IVF, and the endoscopy part I used to take them to Dr. N.D. Motasha, Rakesh Sinha, Prakash Trivedi for the endoscopy part, Sanjan Wala, all these people. And so I slowly evolved that technique of teaching and mentoring the kids. And then, of course, as luck would have it, I joined Dr. Nandita. We both became partners. And then later on, we did the fellowship program as well. So the FNB fellowship program was a very important part, and we started getting FNB candidates from Delhi. So this whole process, and at the same time, I was in political professional organizations in Mumbai Society, in ISAR, in IAG, in Foxy. So there you have to keep on teaching. So what I'm trying to tell you is I started mentoring people because that was a part and parcel of my career growth. I had to keep on teaching and evolving myself. Many people joke, Dr. Pai, you taught so many people, now there are so many IVF people, But I'm very happy. Many of them are leading a lot of chains now. They are senior people in various chains that have come into the field. So, after looking at all this, coming back to your question of what are the mistakes that the kids do, I always tell everyone that you should not enter private practice very early. So if you enter private practice early, then you do well, but then you would stagnate. You will go on a plateau phase, and then you will, while another guy who is like slow and steady wins the race. So if another guy who spend more time in uh, teaching, in learning, then what happens that they slowly build their practice, and then they enter the practice. So if their entry is delayed, but when they enter, they do a rapid growth.
Right.
Because they have, so the other way of doing it, because it's not so easy to stay in public health, public departments, do your work as professors, lecturers. It's not easy. Not There are not that many slots. So the other thing you can do, yes, you can enter the practice, but you should have a private senior person whom you should work with.
Right, sir. So, sir, somebody who's entering the practice, we see a lot of freshers, they just dive into the private practice. And as you rightly said, somebody who's into a teaching profession, who's mentoring, and then establishing or launching into a private practice may have better experience. But is there anything else that this young fellow who's straight into the private practice is missing on to?
Yeah, the main thing is experience. I see a lot. The problem with the present system is that the people who are coming out of, let's say, MD are not fully trained.
Yes.
Like when I was there, because of the disparity in the number of doctors and patients. So when we used to work in KMR, there was huge amount of work. That work is not there. So I feel that work needs to be replaced by more of virtual training. See, so what has happened is that in United States and all, there is a lot of virtual labs and all. So they are trained there and then they operate. Here, what is happening is that the kids are coming out, they are totally raw.
Yes.
Because I feel that the actual training starts after MD. MD is just to get the exam degree.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in till the MD or MS, they will just learn how to do a cesarean section, a normal delivery, and maybe 30, 40, I don't know, nowadays hysterectomies are becoming lesser. That's it.
Right.
Then they start doing fellowship in this, fellowship in that. So there is a problem at our teaching level as well, unfortunately. So I feel that any new person, because I see them not doing even dilatation, holding the valsalum, they don't know how to do it.
Right.
So I feel bad, no? because they are not being exposed.
Yeah.
And there are too many of them in the units now. Departments are full. So there is a big problem in the learning.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons that, so if you look at our IVF field, compared to operative field, it is more easier.
Right.
So more and more of them are coming towards IVF. Because, for in the other, like a laparoscopic surgery or, going ahead further and doing robotic surgery, the it's more difficult to learn.
Can't learn. Yes, very true, sir. And so this also clearly gives us a message that how important it is to have a mentor. But then you have been mentoring so many students, but not everyone does that. So for a young doctor who does not get a mentor, what can he or she do to avail a mentorship? I mean, role of organizations over here, role of teaching academies over here, so as to give that child a guide map or a road map, help him build his career.
So now, that's why the associations are very important. So like if you don't have an opportunity, for example, you don't get attached to a teaching hospital, you can also be a part of an association. So in the association, there are a lot of teaching activities, training activities. So that gives you a platform where you can slowly learn, look at other colleagues or senior colleagues of yours, say in the Foxy or in the Mumbai Obstetric Society or whatever society you are in the endoscopic society or the IVF society, that is ISAR, and you learn by associating with other people and slowly imbibe. So the other thing I've seen is that there's a lot of impatience, obviously, but I feel that in the future now we should be not impatient. I keep on telling Arnav, my son, I said, don't enter too early, too fast. Take it easy. I always give the example of a ball in the swimming pool. If you just sit, say you run after the ball will go ahead. If you stay there, it will come to you. So we need to stay steady, and it will all come. Because 30s to 40, of course, the problem with medicine is that by the time you are 30, your other colleagues who are in engineering or other lines, they have already made their money, they already settled down, they have had their kid. While here you are learning, and then so you are a bit uneasy because your other colleagues are going ahead of you. I know the other day I was reading that the pilot is in so American Airlines are getting $500,000 a year. So there's again another problem. So with a lot of doctors coming in, and as I was saying to other people, that India, there are two Indias. One is a 1.3 billion India, which is a free India, and which is a public service, and 100 million India, which is just the private India. So the doctors are coming out in a huge number. So there's a clustering of doctors in that paying group of patients. And so, the olden days how we were, to give you an example, when I started IVF in 1990, there were only 10 of us in the whole of India, imagine. And now there are God knows how many, 3,000-4,000 people. So that's, of course, the population has increased, the paying ability has increased also. But you have to, so I tell everyone that you can't have the same high that we had once upon a time. But having said that, the attitudes have also changed. Now the newer generation doesn't really bother about owning a house or owning a car. You can rent a house or rent a car. That think there's a thought change also in attitude. So maybe you don't have to make that kind of money anymore, because just imagine the flats are so costly now. How do you earn money to buy a flat unless you inherit one? As a doctor, very few doctors can go to that level of earning. So you'll have to rethink your life, not only in medicine but in all fields of life. Now with the artificial intelligence coming in, a lot of the things will become. Yesterday I was looking at Instagram, Elon Musk was saying that within 3 years Optimus Primus, so there's a new humanoid that has been invented by Elon Musk's group, Tesla, that's called Optimus Primus. So he said that he will be better surgeon than the normal surgeon, and that may be possible. So that's going to create a problem for us. So we will have to start. So there are two things we have to do. One is to adjust to that lower income level maybe in the future. The competition from the machines we'll have to adjust to, and we'll have to also think out of the box. How do I beat this? So I feel that we'll have to, like any other field, we'll have to do multiple things. We can't just be doctors. We'll have to do parallel things in our life to achieve. Okay, if you want to be steady, you become a doctor, you'll have a good life. You can have a 9 to 5 job. But if you want to be ambitious and grow, you will have to do other things as well.
So, sir, doing other things also reminds me, now there is a lot of corporatization in the country, and the government is also supporting it. So, do you think that for the new generation doctors, it is a prudent idea to come together as groups together for a
Correct.
practice rather than me, myself.
Yeah, so that is what I feel. My philosophy of collectivism is there. So we need to be collective. So we need to come together, not and merge with our identities. We
Right.
keep our identities. So if you look at the private practice now, there are two parts of practice. One is the operating part, then setting up a hospital,
Yeah.
and the second is getting part, getting the patients, following up with them. So the getting part or the procuring disposables. So what does a corporate do or a large chain do? They get this at a lower cost because they have too many centers. So we also need to come together so that we can have procurement as a collective, we can have marketing as a collective, we can have all these other setting up equipment, getting equipment at a lesser cost. Like, the other day I was reading, they bought so many Mercedes together. 100 Mercedes,
Yes.
some Gujarati businessmen bought together, so they got a good deal. So similarly, if we we have to evolve ourselves and we have to create a new concept of merging ourselves, but not too much. You can't live with each other in the same house. You have independent existence, but you come together collectively to do certain chores which can help you to fight the chains.
Yeah. But rather than the unity, I see something else in this new generation, doctor. Everyone, yes, you said rightly that their counterparts in a non-medical profession are settled well, so they feel that urge that even they are also in the peak of starting a family, raising a child, establishing a career. So the pressures are there, I understand. But nowadays, doctors are in that rush. They want to figure out everything at 35 or maximum 40. Let me give you a simple example. Today, a young doctor wants to be the Dr. Hrishikesh Pai, but doesn't see the 4 decades of journey or the struggles of Dr. Hrishikesh Pai and is not ready to take that. Where is all this coming from?
So, like when we became doctors, I was getting a pay of 700 rupees as an intern, and my mother, like when I gave my engagement ring or proposal ring to my wife, I had to borrow money from my mother and give her the ring to Rishma. So, like when I became a doctor, I didn't realize the kind of income we will make. So, medicine was it came with out of the blue. We never realized that our things will go up, will progress, all of us will do well. So there was it all came without expectation. Now the newer generation has seen all that. Now they have gone through their parents have gone through their cycle. They have seen their uncles, aunts, or other people in the society, doctors doing well now. So they want that faster.
Yeah.
So that's a fear also, because I feel that doctors are being under this thing, and what will happen is less people will start taking medicine because it's not worth it. And though having said that, with the artificial intelligence coming in, a lot of people are saying that medicine will be one of the few professions that will be remaining. But with Optimus Primus of Elon Musk coming in, I don't know whether that's going to be the real thing or not. So it's next 10 years are flux years. In those flux years, we don't know exactly what is going to happen. So also, what I want to tell the youngsters is that you have to keep on educating yourself. And like, look at me. I started IVF. I started practice in 1985. And every 5 years, I keep on reinventing myself. So like when, maybe about 20 years back, I was traveling and I picked up a Fortune magazine and I was reading in the lounge, and that time it was written that a person will have to change a profession 4 times. 4 times in your lifetime, you will have to keep on changing your profession because it's becoming too dynamic. You can't be complacent. Today you are doing something successful, some others will emulate you, and within 6 months' time, you are again in the competition. So you will have to keep on being on your toes all the time, and you have to keep on learning. So I feel that one of the most important things a young doctor has to do now is to start learning the tools, how to make a video, how to manage, take management lessons. Because I feel medicine, we are versatile. So like, let's say if there's a chartered accountant and you tell him, okay, do medicine, he'll not be able to do. But if you're just a doctor, you say, do CA, a chartered accountancy, he will read and he can do it. It's easier for him because medicine is more intensive, technically intensive. So it's not so. Our people are well positioned to enter other fields also, and we should not look at it negatively. Oh, I've not been able to succeed as a doctor. He is doing better. The second thing I feel is that you should have ambition, but you should not compare yourself with anyone else.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Someone may be luckier than you, better than you, he may have a better skill than you. It doesn't matter. You must not look at others, then you will be happy. Because ultimately it boils down to internal happiness.
Yeah.
When you start comparing yourself a lot, then you will be unhappy. And that's what is happening. All the time people are unhappy. I have not achieved it. This one has achieved. At the same time, I also would like to tell the youngsters that they should not neglect the association, because there's something called FOMO.
Yeah.
So, I will not tell you the name of the doctor, but one of the topmost guys in our field, he came and said one day to me that I want to become president of Foxy. I said, listen, you can't, because it's a step ladder,
Step
because
ladder,
now
right,
with
yeah.
there's a requirement that you have to be vice president, and also I feel that you should also be in the associations.
Right.
And so it should be multiple thing. Be in the association, do some social work, because social work will give you more practice.
Yes.
People will in society start recognizing you. So if you give, you will get.
Yes.
Okay, so you should do that as well. Do academics, take sabbaticals. I remember when I was in Melbourne in 1990, there was Professor Raul Magara, who was a professor of Hammersmith. He had taken a sabbatical. 2 years he was working on monkeys. So in our department, we used to do IVF on marmoset monkeys in Melbourne. So he just took a break and came, and he said, I was there as a fellow. So I said, what is this guy doing? He's sacrificing 2 years of his life doing this marmoset monkey IVF. What is the value of it? There may be no value in it. It's a translational medicine, but if the values are in different. He was spending time in another country. He was learning how they talk. From there, you will get some brilliant idea. I always feel that you should go abroad. Everyone should go for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years abroad, and so because you get a new idea, a new approach. You can't get it through digital. You can't, unless you smell, unless you taste the food. You can't just look at food on the screen and enjoy it.
Right.
So you have to go and sacrifice and do that. Then you become very seasoned. You get new ideas. You become different. You evolve yourself into a better individual. That enables you to achieve success.
So, sir, going out and learning from the international world, but a lot of youngsters also feel, let me not come back. What is your take on practicing IVF in the country, the prospects or the need of the doctors still in the country? So, what would be your opinion or advice to that young doctor?
No, I feel that you should do hybrid. You should go there, settle there for a long time, enjoy that part of your career, learn those techniques, and then come back. Keep one foot there. If you can't see, because yes, the country has trained you, it is your duty, but you can also remit. So I feel that if you can't come back, you can send back.
Right.
Okay, that's also equally important. And if you look at our foreign exchange, one of the biggest sources of foreign exchange in our country is remittance. Remittance of people working in the Middle East, people working in Canada, United States, Australia, UK, Europe. They want to send money to their parents. So they are sending money to their country back. And that's very important. So I don't think so. We should have, I feel, Indians everywhere.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of them. So I don't think you should bother. But yes, at some point in time, so you can come back and do some service. So there's a huge amount of talent. Talent pool is a lot of people can't migrate. So we have a lot of people now available to service our patients in India. And those who can go should go abroad. Those who can come back should come back. So
Right.
I don't think we should be definitive and say, no, if you go abroad and stay there, you are hurting our country. No, you are helping our country. Every move of yours, in some way or the other, you are in a match in Australia and you are cheering for the Indian cricket team in Australia, that's helping our country. So it's okay.
Yeah. And so I think there's a competition. I would say it's rather a race today to collect degrees, certifications, fellowships, climbing up the ladder in the organizations. In today's world, you think people are still truly doing this from the perspective of learning or to get some fancy lines on their CV?
No, I think that CV build-up is very important also. Learning, of course, is a process. If you are going to do that, you will learn.
Yeah.
But CV build-up is important. So we are in the real world nowadays. That there's a lot of pressure going on. So it's better to build your CV. Don't be complacent.
Right.
Fight. Don't say ki, okay, no. You must build your CV. You must learn. You must achieve. Keep on fighting. Of course, it's a all in your mind. Some person may be relaxed, be happy, 9 to 5 job. That's his calling. If you are not happy in that, you do the standard way. But it's a life is cutthroat in every field.
Right, sir.
If you work well, you are a performer, you achieve.
So it's a way of establishing a credibility.
There is no way. You have to do hard work and you have to struggle to achieve.
Right.
And not only that, you achieving is not that difficult. Maintaining the achievement is the challenge.
Yeah, and then progressing from that
and
level.
So that is a real challenge, to maintain it. So when you are going up the ladder, it's okay. But when you have achieved the peak and then you go down the ladder, that's the problem.
So, sir, if we talk about the obstetrician volume in the country, let's say just Foxy itself has more than 46,000 members. To add to it are some non-members. With this such mammoth volume of the obstetricians and gynecologists in the country, how can a young gynecologist ensure that he or she be visible and develop his or her credibility in the initial years of development?
So I told you that in the initial years, you have to learn and train. Then when you decide to settle down, of course, you can settle down in the A cities, but there are a lot of B and C cities. See, a lot of new corridors are opening up, and if I look at the people who are in a smaller cities, they are having massive hospital, fantastic life. Everyone knows them. In my building, where I stay, even my building people don't know me. I'm an unknown entity. You understand? In a large city, but in a smaller city, you're a known. The magistrate knows you. The police commissioner knows you. So you can create your own niche and become very big. So I feel as the country's infrastructure is developing, big corridors, land masses, new cities are coming up. There's a huge potential. You can go and settle in those cities. Right. So because the main cities like Mumbai and all are very saturated.
Very true, sir. And sir, is there any appropriate age or a right frame time when people should start entering organizations to serve the organizations?
I think 30s to you can start like being a junior. And I feel that after 35, 40 is the range when you can maybe start aspiring to be in the managing committees of the federations. And then between 40s and 50s, you can be visible. And then the 50s to the 60s are the ones where you can start taking more leadership positions. Right. And then 60s, now the problem is that now the longevities are going to go up. Like there was a book by Dr. Yuval Moses where he has said that people may live till 150 years. Now with the new chips coming in, implantation, your Alzheimer can be tackled. New technologies are coming in wherein your cancers will be tackled. Your organ harvesting may happen, 3D printing of organs. So you may get new kidneys, new hearts. There's already an artificial heart which is very popular in France. So all these things will increase your longevity. Right. So there's a lot of time. Yes. Take your time. Enjoy. I always tell people, of course, they'll say, oh, Dr. Pai, you have achieved everything. So now you're telling us, ये क्या बूढ़ा अपने सबको उपदेश दे रहा है अभी हाँ खुद तो मजा कर लिया. But I feel that enjoy the journey of life. Yes. Don't get hassled by anyone. You know what? Now with digital media, social media, someone will put, I want a Maybach. Doesn't matter. Right. He has a Maybach. Let him be happy in that Maybach. You drive your Uber. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's all in your mind. So once you internalize those things, then you will be very happy. You understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
then don't compare yourself. Keep on working. Enjoy the moment of life. Enjoy the sound. Enjoy the fragrance of life,
Right.
and things will come to you.
Very true, sir. I think social media, yes, it's a boon, but it's also one of the very big reasons for an unhealthy competition
Correct.
that's developing.
Correct. Yeah.
And that FOMO thing, fear of missing
Yeah,
out.
I know. So
So,
even I at sometimes say, "अरे यार मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ?" है ना? So like a person whom I have quite achieved everything, but I also get jealous sometimes of someone. "अरे he's got this." Then I internalize myself. I say,
yes.
"No, no, no. Let us not. I've got God has been kind to me.
Right.
Everything is good. How many people have a house
Yeah.
to stay or a small car to drive
Right.
or a good healthy life?" So I internalize myself and I become happy again.
And that is why we need mentors like you so that
Yeah.
they can teach people about practicing gratitude and how to calm themselves. So, sir, going on to the other spectrum, well, let's be honest, everywhere there is some politics, whether it's hospitals, associations, organizations. Again, for this young fellow who's now building up a career in this field in our country, what would be your advice? How can he or she navigate without losing the integrity amongst all this politics?
No, no, I feel like if you're a good worker, na, like seniors, like good workers, if you work well, na, then you will automatically rise. You should work well, be good to everyone.
Right.
Don't never say nasty things about anyone because sometimes we get to tend jealous behind the back. We may not really mean
Mean
it,
it.
but we'll say, "Arey, this is the," so never say it because someone will say, "Oh, he was saying that."
In the heat of
Be
moment.
very nice, be cool, do your work, appreciate others, and you will automatically rise.
Right.
This has been always my dharma. That I've been always good to people. Even my, people who have really hurt me, I will still forgive them. Means maybe that's my nature. But I think we should not bother too much with all this. Ultimately, it's nothing. Look at it this way, beyond. So I always say that our organization is like a pond. For example, Foxy, we are being recorded by him. For example, he doesn't know what is Foxy.
Yeah.
It's our a small pond.
Right.
Beyond that, who knows what is Foxy? Who is the Foxy president? They'll say Foxy must be some animal, some fox maybe. So that is how it is. So in our own small pond, we are something, but beyond that, we are nobody.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that. Once you understand that, you become humble. You understand? You are nobody. Like, Acha, Dr. Pai, oh, acha, ja. Then many times when I became FIGO trustee, I had to tell him, oh, FIGO is a world organization. So I had to establish that I am a trustee of FIGO. It's a big achievement, but not people don't know anything. So
Yeah.
that's how it is.
And so, in our young years, it's a hot blood. We are all very energetic, ambitious, sometimes even impatient. And in pursuing our careers, we literally burn ourselves out. And sometimes we really forget why did we all start it. When do you think is the moment that we have crossed that line? Or how do we get to know that I am reaching to a burnout phase? And this is
So in USA it's a big thing called physician burnout, but that's a burnout because when you're doing a lot of work, so there are two burnouts you may have probably at the work level, but now in India, unfortunately, the work ratio is, or fortunately for you guys, the newer generation, there are a lot of doctors and patients are getting distributed.
Yeah.
So I think that burnout is not so much.
right.
At the level of the institutes.
Yeah.
Now the burnout, let's talk about the burnout in our life. So that burnout, you have to, if you balance your life, now you will not have a burnout. Sometimes it happens that, especially now, the competition is very intense. And so there is a chance of a burnout which may happen, but you have to have other alternative parallels. As I told you, you need to have other sources of income. Maybe run a restaurant on the side. Do something else. Do something in the digital space.
Right.
Do some writing. Do some research work. So you have other sources of income as well.
Right.
So it doesn't pressurize you in your practice. And I feel group practice, especially in our line, obstetrics is also big. Of course, now we are talking about IVF, but in our line, obstetrics is also, like, so we should have collective. I think collective practice in the future is going to be a big
Game changer.
important part. Second is getting more into the periphery, because now the everything is becoming quite standardized. You will have a restaurant even in a small B city.
Yeah.
You may have a Starbucks in a small C city.
Right.
Okay, you will have a mall there. You have your PVR everywhere.
Right.
You'll have your Apollo pharmacy. So everything, you will have a club everywhere. The roads are becoming better. So there's a standardization across our large. Amos is a very large country. If you see, between cities there are huge swaths of land which are empty. So there's a lot of development that will take place in the near future. Only thing, you have to migrate outside, migrate out of the country, or migrate into the countryside.
Of the country, yes, very true, sir. So, sir, today, if you had to start your career, okay, as a young mind, what would you tell yourself to focus on in the initial 5 years?
No, so I would, if I had to start my career, first of all, I would go abroad, do a lot of research for 5 years, because translational research is very important, learn, and, because then you establish connections with people, na? And then you come back and then you start your practice, so that's how I would do it slowly. Means not jump into the practice directly.
Yeah.
Even I was telling that to my son also, that don't get into practice, learn. But the younger generation is very impatient. They are saying, hey, what is this research and all that? I want to get in, make the money, and get my first house, my car, this, that, my foreign holiday. He is doing it. Why should I wait too much? No, this is not the right way.
Right.
Actually, there is no right way. It's ultimately life has got a destiny also.
Yeah.
So whichever way, someone may say, I'll take this way. I'll go rapidly into practice and keep on updating myself. So there's a new school of thought which is saying, why we want to spend so much time into public health and all that. But what happens is that gives you that depth. So if you are in private practice, then you should work with a big guy for a long time. And then through that, you start knowing other people, the patients of that person start knowing you. And then slowly you can come out and start your own thing. Perfect. That's also one way to do it.
Right, sir. And sir, from everything that we have discussed today, and since we have this telecast, especially for our young doctors, if you had to distill everything into one golden mantra to establish a meaningful career in the field of OBGYN, especially IVF in our country, what would be your take-home message for our young audience?
Nothing, just live your life in spontaneity. Don't plan too much, because when you plan, things don't fall into place. Just live it and live it fully.
Right, sir.
That's.
Thank you so much, sir, for this powerful, a very honest and a candid conversation. And to all our viewers, I'm sure you are going to be glued to this telecast till the end. Well, there's another 2 minutes that I'll be taking for all of you. ISAR podcast series was started by Dr. Amit Patki, the president of ISAR, as a tool for the young doctors to utilize this platform to learn from the legends of our IVF field, to hear their real-time stories, learn from their struggles and their experiences, and truly creating a mentorship platform. Also, at this point of time, I would like to congratulate all the ISARians that today we stand as a family of 6,800 plus ISAR members. We are also putting a global mark by establishing the special interest group in Bangladesh and in Nepal this weekend. Dr. Patki has already done that. We have conducted a lot of webinars, and there were unique masterclasses, 12 masterclasses in last 2 years, with an exclusive IIM program in the last masterclass in December. And with this, I would like to thank once again our special guest, Professor Dr. Hrishikesh Pai, for his words of wisdom, for his vast experience. And sir, I would reiterate to say, you truly are a mentor and a great leader. It's such a privilege to have mentors like you, and I have learned personally a lot from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All the best.